So hello guys. So hello guys. I am Anubhav Verma. Today, day 5 of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Let's get started without wasting any time, okay? तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि आज मैं यहाँ बैठ के वीडियो बनाऊँ तो थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंट भी हो जाएगा और थोड़ा मुझे अच्छा फील भी होगा तो लेकिन ठीक लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड फर्स्ट चैप्टर ऑलरेडी बहुत लंबा हो चुका है 5 days का हो चुका है तो हम ट्राई करेंगे कि इसको हम आज पूरा खत्म कर देते हैं ठीक है और क्या लर्निंग्स हैं वो सब भी मैं डिस्कस कर दूंगा तो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विदाउट फर्दर वेस्टिंग एनी टाइम ओके सो या आई एम हियर 45 minutes went by and I was steaming. The two women had met with him and left 30 minutes earlier. An old gentleman wasn't there for 20 minutes and was gone alone. The house was empty. Here I sit in the musty, dark living room on a bed on a beautiful sunny Hawaiian day, waiting to talk to a cheapskate who exploited children. I could hear him rustling around the office, talking on the phone, and ignoring me. And I was ready to walk out, but for some reason I stayed. Finally, 15 minutes later, at exactly 9 o'clock, Rich Dad walked out of his office and said nothing and signaled with his hand for me to enter. I understand you want a raise, or you are going to quit. His dad said, as swilled in his office chair. Well, you are not keeping your hand off the bargain. I blurted out and nearly in tears, and it was really frightening for me to confront that groans. You said that you would teach me if I worked for you. Well, I worked for you and I worked hard. I've given my baseball games to work for you, but you haven't cracked the words and you haven't taught me anything. You are a crook like everyone in town thinks you are. You are greedy, you want all your money and don't take care of your employees. And you make me wait and don't show to any respect and I am only a little boy, but I deserve to be treated better. His dad rocked back in his wheelchair, hands up to his chin, and stared at me. Not bad, he said. In less than a month, you sound like most of my employees. Asked what? I asked, not understanding what he was saying. I continued with my grievance. I thought you were going to keep your hand off the bargain and teach me. Instead, you want me to torture me. That's cruel. That's very cruel. I am teaching you. Very rich dad said quietly. What you have taught me? Nothing, I said angrily. You haven't even talked to me once. I agreed to work for peanuts to 10 cents an hour. Ha, I should notify the government about you. You have children labor law. You know, my dad works for the government, you know. Wow, said Rich Dad. Now you sound just like my of the people who used to work for me. People I have either fired or you have quit. So what do you have to say? I demanded, feeling pretty brave for a little kid. You lied to me. I worked for you and you have kept your own words. You haven't taught me anything. How do you know what that I have not taught you anything? Asked Rich Dad calmly. Well, you have never talked to me. I have worked for 3 weeks and you have not taught me anything, I said with a port. Does teaching means talking or a lecture? Rich Dad asked. Yes, why? I replied. Yes, why? I replied. See, that's how they teach you in school. He said, smiling, but this is not how life teaches you. I would say that life is the best teacher of all. Most of the time, where life doesn't talk to you and it's just a short of pushes you around. Each push in life saying, wake up, there's something I want you to learn. What is this man talking about? I asked myself. Life pushing me around, was life talking to me? Now I knew I had quit my job. I was talking to someone who needed to be looked up. If you learn life's lesson, you will do well. If not, life just continue to push you around. People do two things: some just let life pushes them around, other can't and when push back, but they push back against their boss or their job or their husband or wife. They do not know it's life they're pushing. I had no idea what he was talking about. Life pushes all us around. Some people give up or other fights. A few learn to learn lesson or move on. They welcome. Life pushes them around to these few peoples. It means they need and want to learn something. They learn and move on. Most quit and few like you fight. Richard stood and shut the creaky old wooden window and that needed repair. If you learn this lesson, you will grow into a wise, wealthy, and happy young man. If you don't, you will spend your life blaming a job, low pay, or your boss, or for your problem. You will live life always hoping for that big brings that will solve all your money problem. Rich dad looked over at me to see if I was still learning. His eye met mine. We stared at each other, communicating through our eyes. Finally, I looked away once I had absorbed this message. I knew he was right. He was blaming him, and I did ask to learn. I was fighting. Rich dad continue, or if you are kind of person who has no guts, you just give up every time life pushes you. If you are a kind of person, you will live all your life playing it safe, doing the right things, saving yourself for some events that never happens. Then you die a boring old man. You will have a lot of friends who really like you because you were such a nice, hardworking guy. But the truth is that you let life pushes you into submissions. Deep down, you were terrified to taking risks and wanted to win. But the fear of losing the greater than excitement of winning. Deep inside, you and only you will know you didn't go for it. You choose to play it safe. Arise, maths again. You've been pushing me around, I ask. Some people might say that, smile rich dad. I would say that I just gave you a taste of life. Still, truth today? Some people might say that, smile rich dad. I came here to see that this is important thing. I read it aloud and you sing to me. Totally, millennials and Gen Zs are learning the hard fact of life. Jobs are harder to find. Robots are replacing workers by the millions. Learning by making mistakes through trials and error is more and more important. Book learning is providing to less valuable in the real world. No longer does a college education are guaranteed a job. Some people might say that, smiled rich dad. I would say that I just gave you a taste of life. What taste of life? I asked, still angrily, but now I'm curious and ready to learn. You boys are the first people who have ever asked me to teach them how to make money. How to make money. I have more than 150 employees, and not only one of them ask me for a job and a paycheck, but never to teach them about money. Most people will spend the best year of their lives working for money, not really understanding what it is they are working for. Is I sat there listening intently. So when Mike told me you wanted to learn how to make money, I decided to design a course that mirrored real life. I could talk until I was blue in the face, but you wouldn't hear a thing. So I decided to let life pushes you around a bit of you and could hear me. That's why I only paid you 10 cents. So what is the lesson I learned from working for only 10 cents an hour? I asked. That's you are cheap and exploit your worker. Rich dad rolled back and laughed heartily. Finally, he said, "You did best change your point of view. Stop blaming me and thinking and I am the problem. If you think I am the problem, then you have to change me. If you realize that you are the problem, then you can change yourself. Learn something and grow wiser. And most people wants everyone else in the world to change but themselves. Let me tell you, it's easier to change yourself than anyone else. I don't understand, said. I said, don't blame me for your problem, but you only pay me 10 cents. So what are you learning? That you are cheap. See, you think I am the problem, but you are. Well, keep that attitude and you will never learn anything. Keep that attitude, keep the attitude that I am the problem and what choice do you have? Well, if you don't pay me more and show me more respect and teach me, I'll quit. Well put. Rich Dad said that exactly what most people do. They quit and go looking for another job, a better opportunity, an opportunity to higher pay, actually thinking that this will solve the problem. In most cases, it won't. So, what should I do? I asked. Just take this measly 10 cents an hour and smile. His dad smiled. That's what the other people do. But that's all they do. Waiting for a raise, thinking, thinking, uh, thinking. Thus, more money will solve the problems. Most people just accept, and some take the second job and working harder and work harder and just again accepting a small paychecks. Um, I sat staring at the floor, beginning to understood the lesson Rich Dad was presenting. I could sense it was a taste of life. I looked up and asked, "So what will solve the problem?" This, he said, learning forward in this chair and tapping me gently on the head. This stuff between your ear. This stuff between your ears. Use this. Is that the moment that Rich Dad shared the pivotal point of view that separated him from his employee and poor dad and led him to eventually become one of the richest men in Hawaii. While while my highly educated poor dad struggled financially all his life, it was a singular point of view that made all the difference over lifetime. Rich Dad explained this his point of view over and over, which I call lesson number one. The poor and middle class don't work for money, they have money work for them. On that bridge Saturday morning, I learned completely different point of view from what I have been taught by my poor dad. At the age of 9, I understood that both dad wanted me to learn, both dad encouraged me to study, but not the same thing. Timeless, rich dad wisdom. Again, this point. Buying an or building asset that deliver cash flow is putting your money to work for you. High paying job means two things. You are working for money and the taxes you will probably increase. I have learned to put my money to work for me, enjoy the tax benefit of generating income that doesn't come from a paycheck. My highly educated dad recommend that I do what he did. Son, I want you to study hard, get good grade, so you can find a secure, safe job with a big company, and make sure it was an excellent benefit. My rich dad wanted me to learn how money works so I could make it work for me. These lessons I would learn through life this with this his guidance and not because of a classroom. Rich Dad had continued my first lesson. I am glad you got angry about working 10 cents an hour. If you hadn't got angry, that simply accepted and it would have to tell you that I could teach you not. You see, true learning takes energy, passion, and burning desire. True learning requires energy, passion, and burning desire. And anger is a big part of that formula. For passion is angry, and love combined. When it comes to money, most people want to play it safe, feel secure, so passion does not direct him, fear does. So, is that why they will take job with low pay? I asked, yes, said Rich Dad. Some people say I exploit people because I don't pay as much as the sugar plantation or the government. I say the people exploit them with their fear, not mine. But don't you feel you should pay them more? I ask. I don't have to. Besides, more money will not solve their problem. Just look at your dad. He makes a lot of money and he still can't pay his bill. Most people given more money only to get more debt. So that's why 10 cents an hour I had asked smiled. It's a part of the lesson. That's right, smiled that rich dad. You see, rich dad, your dad had went to school, got excellent education, so he could get high paying job, but he still have money problem because he never learned anything about money in school. On top of that, he believes working for money, and you don't asked. This again, this part, very important part of this. Go to school. Well, while I am a huge supporter of education and lifelong learning, going to school, especially college, has become a financial nightmare. Student loan debt in any another record high with 44.7 million Americans, overly nearly 1.71 trillion. Again, that's trillion with a T. No, not really, said Rich Dad. If you want to learn work for money, then stay in school. That is great place to learn to do that. But if you want to learn how to have money work for you, then I'll teach you that. But only if you want to learn. Would won't everyone wants to learn that? No, said Rich Dad. Simply because it's easier to learn to work for money, especially if it's fear your primary emotion when the subject of money is discussed. I don't understand, I said with a frown. Don't worry about that for now. Just know that it's fear that keeps most people working at their job. The fear of not have paying their bills, the fear of being fired, the fear of not having enough money, the fear of starting over. That's the price of studying to learn profession or trade. The the That's the price of studying to learn a profession or trade. The working for money, most people became a slave to money and then get angry at their boss. Learning to have money work for you is a completely different course of study. I asked. Absolutely. Rich Dad answered absolutely. We sat in the silence in the beautiful Hawaiian society Saturday morning. My friend just started their little league baseball game. For some reason, I'm thankful I was decided to work 10 cents an hour, and I sensed that I was about to learn something my friend wouldn't learn in school. Ready to learn? Rich Dad asked. Absolutely, I said it to grin. Okay. I have kept my promise. I have been teaching you from afar. My rich dad said, at 9 years old, you have gotten a taste of what it feels little to work for money. Just multiply your last month by 50 years and you will have an idea what most people spend their life doing. I don't understand, I said. Okay. How did you feel waiting in line to see once you get hired and once to ask for money, more money? Trouble, terrible. I said. If you choose to work for money, that is what life will be like, said his dad. And how did you feel, Miss Martin? Did drop 3 dimes in your hands for 3 hours a week? It felt like I wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It seemed little nothing. I was disappointed, I said. And that is how most employees feel when they look at their paycheck, especially after all taxes other deductions are taken out. At least you got 100 cents. 100%. At least you got 100%. You mean most workers don't get paid everything? I asked with amazement. Heavens no, said Rich Dad. The government always takes his first share. How do they do that? I ask. Taxes. Rich said by rich dad. You are taxed when you earn, you are taxed when you spend, you are taxed when you save, you are taxed when you die. Why do people let the government do that to them? The rich don't, said rich dad. The poor and middle class do. I'll bet you that, I'll bet you that I earn more than your dad, yet I pay more in taxes. How can that be? I asked. At my age, that made no sense to me. Why would someone let the government do that to them? Rich dad rocked slowly and silent in his chair, just looked at me, ready to learn. He asked. I nodded my head slowly. Again, this part. As government expand and needed more and more money, the only place to get it is the middle class. That's mean the worker. Every government now favors the professional investor and business owner. The workers pay taxes, investors and business owners pay very less taxes. If they use the tax law as intended as a tool to build the economy, as I said, there is a lot to learn. Learning how to have money work for you is a lifetime study. Most people go to college for 4 years and their education ends. I already know that my study to money will continue over my lifetime, simply because the more I find out, the more I only need to know. Most people never study the subject, they go for work, their paychecks, their balance with their checks, and that's it. Then they wonder why they have money problem. They think that more money will solve the problem, don't realize that it's their lack of financial education that is the problem. That is the problem. So my dad has tax problem, but because he doesn't understand money. Look, said rich dad, taxes are just a small section on learning how to have money work for you today. I wanted you to find out if you still have the passion to learn about money. Most people don't. They want to go to school, learn a profession, having fun of their work, and earn lots of money. One day they wake up and a big money problems and they can't stop working. That's the price of only knowing how to work for money instead of studying how to have money work for you. So, do you still have the passion to learn? Said Rich Dad. I nodded my head. Good. Now get back to the work, and this time I will pay you nothing. What? There's a lot to go in this chapter. It's not possible. It's not possible, guys, to finish this chapter today because I have some extra other works to do. There are lots of things. We are in chapter 45, page 45, and we have still 66 page to 66 page. So it's not possible to spend to learn to. It's not possible today to finish this chapter tomorrow whole, but I try to finish this chapter till here. I am now in here, so I read this one out once, and from there, from here we'll do tomorrow. So look, I'll pay you nothing, okay? What? I ask amazement. You heard me. Nothing. You will work for the same 3 hours every Saturday, but this time you will not be paid 10 cents per hour. You said you wanted to learn not to work for money, so I'm not giving you pay you anything. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I am already had this conversation with Mike and hers already working. Dusting is and staking canned chained goods for free. You did better hurry and get back work. That's not fair, I shouted. You have got to pay something. You said you wanted to learn, and if you don't learn this, you will never grow up to be like two women and the older man sitting in the living room. working for money and hoping I don't have fire them, or look like your dad, earning a lot of money and only to be dead in up his eyeballs, hoping more money will solve the problem. Is that what you want? I'll go back to the original deal, 10 cents an hour, or you can do what most adults do, complain that there is not enough pay, quit, and go looking for another job. But what to do I do? I asked. Rich dad tapped me on the head. Use this, he said. If you use it well, you will soon thank me for giving you an opportunity to you will grow into a rich man. I stood there, I still not believing what a raw deal I was handed. I came to ask for a rise, for somehow I was instead of working for nothing. Rich dad tapped me on the head again and said, use this now. Now get out of here and get back to the work. That's it for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with same energy and with same effort. Till then, bye bye.